G'day guys, welcome to the channel. Today I've decided I'm sick of my little power supply up here. He sits up here and I use this a lot. It's a little linear power supply and you've probably seen it. It's just generating heaps and heaps of noise into any transistor radio, and I've got heaps and heaps of transistor radios to do. And this is well, it's my favorite. The dials, it's easy to read, you can see it, it's easy to set up. I built it. Now this was an Electronics Today International kit back 131 ETI-131 in around 76 or 77, I think it was 1977. And I built it up and basically I've used it ever since. Now, the unit works fine, the voltage is fine, there's just a whole heap of noise on it. So just not real sure what's causing it. I can't put up with it any longer. So I thought, well, bring you guys along for the ride and see what's inside it, how I built it, what it is. So this takes me back to my teenage years. So yeah, and well, as I've said, I started fixing car radios, basic problems, when I was 12 years old, 12 to 14 years old. So yeah, I've been a tech for a little while, and I really needed to get a power supply in the early days. Yes, I've got the switch mode. Well, you know what switch modes are like. They're pretty well all the same unless you pay a whole heap of money. I do have up behind me here, up there, that's a big linear one, and it is beautiful. That's yeah, that's a very nice BWD unit. So it's good, but it's big. It's an overkill for my little transistor radios. I can set the current limit on this little fella, voltage current limiter. Yes, it's a switch. You can't see both at once, whereas this you can. That thing seems to just generate heaps more noise than this one. But there shouldn't be any noise out of a linear supply. So let's get on and have a look. Round the back, all you got on here is it's a great big heatsink and a 2N3055 transistor for the regulator. It will only handle 2.5 amps. That's all I need for 99% of my transistor stuff that I do. The cord is a silicon heat-proof cord on it, which was done, that all come with the kit back in the day, so that you didn't burn it with your soldering iron, which was a handy thing back in the day, but doesn't happen now. We'll probably take the transistor off and put some more heatsink compound in there. We'll just check the whole thing out and give him a service. We'll set it up. The only I sort of can't calibrate this thing with anything other than my fluke meter that I've got. Yes, it may be within 0.001 of a volt. That's fine with me. In this workshop, things just, they've got to be done. So yes, we get them as close as we can. But anyway, let's have a look and yeah, see what's inside this little baby. It's been a while since I've been inside him. I was very young in 1976, I think it was. Okay, well, here's a closer look. There's nothing fancy about it. I'll try and keep the reflection off the screen there, but there it is. Very basic power supply. Round the back, there's your transistor, a quality, absolute quality, 2N3055. Okay, let's get into him. Now, the other thing I've got to find for you is the circuit of this fella. because I'm not real sure where the circuit is. I've got to find that somewhere. Reason being, I just wanted to show you what the circuit entails. We won't need a circuit to fix whatever's going wrong with it. As soon as I get the lid off, we'll hook up the oscilloscope and see what we can see, to see what sort of frequencies coming out of it and what this interference is. This is not a restoration of a power supply. This is, keep it original. Boy, this thing has served me for a long, long time in the service industry. Absolute magic supply. There we go. And I can probably see straight away what's wrong. Okay, let's bring you guys here. Bring this down. Okay, there we go. There's the inside. There's our setup for voltage adjust, current resistors. Have a look at that cap. Fairly bulged up the top. And believe it or not, there is only one cap other than the filter caps in this. And of course, I've forgot what's inside this thing. This thing is has never ever been opened. There's some of my handiwork when I was a teenager. Obviously, it's lasted. The secondary of the transformer just soldered straight on the back of the diode, straight to the cap. Yeah, nothing terribly fancy about that. So what we're going to do, we're going to lift the board out. But first of all, before we go moving anything, I'm just checking around the place to see. What we're going to do is see what noise is coming out of this thing. What's it look like? Okay, let's have a look. Turn him on. There we go. Set up our voltage. Call it 9 volts. Okay. Now, there we go. Plug in our leads. As you see with this little fella, he's current protected, so you can touch the leads together. Nothing happens. It just current limits. If I want to set the current, switch it down, and there's your current. If you want 1 amp, okay, that's it. You go back to voltage. So it's set at current limit 1 amp at 9 volts. Simple as that. Yes, the other one, a bit more accurate. But anyway, here we go. Let's set up there and there. And what have we got? Let's do an auto setup here and see what's going on. Now it looks like total rubbish. I don't quite know. It's just hash. So that's Just having a look there, but as you can see, not very stable, all over the place. She's fairly noisy, guys. That is coming through the radio. That's the problem. Okay, now, before I go any further, we'll hook this up to a radio and have a listen to the noise. Then we'll do the job and then have a listen and make sure that there's no other noise coming out, as well as looking at this. That's pretty hectic there. That's a lot of noise. That capacitor it's not warm. Not at all. So, yeah, mind you, it may be a noisy transistor yet. We don't know. But that cap is bulged up, which indicates, yeah, he's no good. And that is getting slightly worse as this heats up. Okay. All right. We'll do the next bit. We'll grab a radio. Now, we've got a high quality radio here. It was just one I grabbed from out the back. This has been, well, somewhat restored. It's going again anyway. That's about all you can say for it. Now, you can hear it going there.
Probably happens every weekend. We have the news.
If we take it just off the station a bit, yeah, it doesn't do much, this radio. Okay, we've got a little bit of noise there. You can probably hear that noise, which is the camera and the lights. Okay, that's about normal. Righto. Now, we'll take our batteries out. Now, this one is 6 volts. So we'll remove our batteries. If I can get them out of this thing. Shouldn't be using those either. Not when you're going to leave them for a while. Can be a little bit of a hassle. Okay. This is a very tight little pack. Now, our red's there. And is that one our black? Yes. Okay. So, there we go. Red and black on here. Let's put the power supply on 6 volts. There we go. We'll try it with these. That's what we got. As you can hear, okay, take the power supply off. Put the batteries back in without touching the radio. There we go. And she's on. And if you listen here, nice and quiet.
2 or more 15 mil serves per day as part of a balanced diet from a state is made in the garden or around the country.
Radio works fine.
Premium quality oil. This is why every bottle is fresh and full of flavour, making your
So there you go, guys. You've seen the evidence of what it does. It's certainly noisy. Okay, switch him off, unplug him, certainly before we start taking that board out. So we'll lift this board up, and that will be where I'm starting. Now, as I said, it may be, I don't think there's any tantalums in here. There's a couple of other very small little ceramic type caps, but it won't be them. I'm betting almost 100% on that fella there. Okay, I'll get some gear and get him apart, and we'll all see what's going on with this. Okay, we'll just put a black dot where the negative is so that I know when I'm putting the new one in. And it's that fella there, those two there. Now, this was bought from Nebula Electronics, and they were based in South Australia, in Adelaide, actually. So there you go, ETI-131. That's Nebula Electronics probably did the board. Okay, let's lift him out. Now, I'm not going to take the board any further. I am going to replace a couple of leads while I'm under here. Okay, there we go. That's our suspect capacitor. It's a 220 mic, 35 volt. Okay, let's get our tester and see what he measures. Stay on there. Negative. And here we go. Let's see what he measures. Well, that's telling you everything, isn't it? VLOS 39%, ESR 24 ohm, measuring 97 mic, more or less 100 mic. It's a 220 mic cap. And the ESR at 24 ohm, that says it all, guys. I'd reckon that's the problem. Now, you can see the top of him fairly bulged there. And that's a sure telltale sign that you've got a crook cap. Underneath, the rubber still feels fine, but he's had his day. I'll grab another one, we'll put it in, and see what it's like. Okay, the one I'm replacing him with is that fella. And he's different because he's rated at 105 degrees. Okay, the one in there, when I built this, high temperature caps were, well, just something you didn't have. And of course, these ones are rated at 85. You can see him there. So, yeah, long time ago. I always use 105s now anyway. Okay, let's get him in here. It's not very often I get to fixing my own gear. Okay, I'll sit this up on his end. That way we can all see a little bit better. Now, when I built this, guys, I was a very young fellow that, well, just starting out in electronics, really. So I didn't have a lot of gear, didn't have a lot of experience. And just looking at this, how I built this, it's always done the job. It's always been perfect. But just looking at it, like now, look at the thickness of the wire that I used. It was probably something I had laying around, or my dad gave me the wire or something. Like, that's your main ground wire. That's a ground. No, that's a positive, sorry. And, well, this black one, yeah, it's a positive. And these two over here are negatives. I used 2 wires here, even though it's only handling a couple of amps. Well, it's rated at 3 amps, this thing. But, yeah, let's give the poor little baby a little bit better chance. And, oh, gee, I'll have to replace all the wiring back over to here. Yeah, no, I'm going to leave it as is, guys. Otherwise, there's heaps to do here, and, well, it's never missed a beat. It does what I want. It supplies 2 amps, 2.5 amps easily. There is no burnt wires or anything like that. I'll just make sure everything is contacting on the transistor at the back, which is the 3055. This fellow's got to be resoldered on there, which I will do right now. Back in the day, it was only lighter current, the wire. So I didn't use heavy wire or anything like that. But, well, way back then, I wasn't going to fiddle around with anything greater than 2 amps. Bit different to these days. Okay. Do you want to see a mended mark of every screw, or what? Yeah, you may as well. 4 star washers. And we'll do this up temporarily until we check it. After we've checked to make sure that that was the problem, what we'll do is clean our pots here, which could be dirty, and then we'll calibrate the best we can. As I said, I'll try and round up a circuit for this and put it up on the screen, or I might put it in the description. I'll see what I can find with it. Okay. There we go. Now, I forgot what preset is what here. We're just going to have to play that a little bit by ear as far as, yeah, what's going on. Now, before we turn it on, I'm just going to spray. And before you ask, because you always do, there's the spray I use. No, it's no longer available. It was in the 70s. I had 30 cans of this. I still have about 20 left. Yeah, that's what I use to clean. It's not available anymore because of things like that are yeah, inside it. Very, very good spray. It works extremely well. Now I'll give the little trim pots a bit of a spray as well. Work those in. That looks good. It'll be good to have this little baby going. It's just a quick and easy power supply to use. It's just so good to use. Okay. Get some gear out of the road so we can have a look at the waveform. We'll have a look at what's going on with it. I shall plug it in right now. Turn it on. Voltage. Let's check our voltage. Current. voltage. Okay, let's take him back to 6 volts where we were. Our current, let's set our current to, what do we want? 1 amp. Okay, and well, let's have a look on the scope and see what we've got. Yeah, righto guys, we've got to put, well, I've got the board back in anyway, and let's see. Look at that, quiet as a mouse. That's just my battery connection.
Yes, exactly.
And that's my light.
Tools and tech. You might want to stay ahead of the markets, or just need some advice. Whatever comes to mind, Nutrient Ag Solutions can help. With specialists in agronomy, rural merchandise, livestock, finance, insurance, real estate, water or wood, we'll help take your business further. Nutrient Ag Solutions.
There we go.
Did you know that Cobram Estate it's
I was supposed to steady while you turn it around.
cold pressed within 4 to 6 hours to create a premium quality oil.
No noise.
This is why every
So that was him, just that cap. That's working fine, no problems at all. So a 220 mic cap, 35 volt in my old ETI, Electronics Today International power supply. I'm going to go and see what I can round up on this and hopefully give you a diagram. I hope I can find it. I'll be back soon. Right, guys, well, I've rounded up some bits and pieces. I had to download this, actually. I can't find my original, but there she is. Now, I could put this up on the screen for you, but it's probably not that interesting to a lot of people, but there's the supply. And that's where I bought it from, and it would have cost me $70 plus $5 freight. So there you go. And actually, it wasn't. I must have been thinking of another Nebula Electronics, because this one was actually at Rushcutters Bay in Sydney. So yeah, there's the address. I don't know whether Nebula Electronics is still going or when they finished or anything about them, but this power supply was certainly a really high quality thing that back in the day. And of course, $70, and I was about well, I was a young fella, probably 15, 16. $70 was a fair bit of money for me then. So yeah, I saved for months and months to buy this. And there's the actual, now the actual details of the build. Now this supply, you could also go 0 to 40 volts. This is a 0 to 20 volts. I only needed up to 20 volts. I didn't need 40, so I left it as it was. I've got another supply that does 40 volts. The circuit, which is this, I'll throw one up here now, and as you can see, it's a little bit clearer to read, that's all. And what we changed was C8. Now that was later changed to a 220 mic at well, 35 volt for mine, or 50 volt for the 40 volt version. So you can see right up the end there at C8 on the output. So that's the capacitor that was giving us problems then. Not much else to it, really. Couple of caps, C1 and C2 off the transformer. And yeah, a couple of comparators there, CA-3130s. So transistors, BC559, 547, BD140 for the driver for the 2N3055. So pretty straightforward power supply, really. And yeah, and there we go. It just details the construction. I'm not going to tell you all about that. There's nothing to see there. There's the board layout, and yeah, I'll put a picture of it up as well. You might want to make one of these, but what we've got to look into now is the setup procedure, which I just want to find out what trim pot does what, so that we can set it up and see if she's all working. Okay, so we'll do that next, and then we're finished him. I'll put him back in service, and I'm sure it'll see me out. I've only got another, yeah, 10, 15, 20 years of servicing, if I'm unlucky. Yeah. All right, we'll have a look at RV2 and RV4 on the circuit board layout. Okay, now, got the multimeter hooked up to the outputs. Turn him on. 10.25. Now, I'm going to set this at maybe 10 volts on the meter. Okay, that's exactly on 10 volts and a 10.78. So yeah, she's not far out. 9, 9, 9, 10. Okay, there's 10 volts, or pretty close on. We've just got to bring our meter. You probably can't see it because of parallax error and everything on there, but we've just got to bring the meter back so it's right on 10 volts. And I'll just move him around because he's been sitting in that position a long time. There we go, 10. Let's see how close to 20 it is. And 20, yeah, 0.15. That's close enough for me. Say 9 volts I use a lot. So right on 9 there. And it's 8.96. That's pretty close. Okay, 5 volts. We use that a bit. And it's there. 5.017. That's pretty close. Okay, let's do the current. So we'll put him back at 10 volts. Switch him down to current. Now turn the current right down. We'll put our meter on current range. And we've got to do the same. Turning our current up to, say, 1 amp. So it's exactly 1 amp there, and we're on 0.6. So this one needs adjusting a little bit. And he's okay. I've 7, 8. I've got to take him up to 1 amp on the digital meter. That's pretty close to 1 amp, and bring our meter back to read 1. Once again, I move him around a little bit. There we go, guys. 1 amp. 1 amp. That's it. Set up. Flicking back to there. Take our meter off. Put him back to volts. 9.83. And yeah, that's slightly under from where I'm looking. So if I go to there, that is more or less, yeah, that's pretty well on 10. right there. And there we go. She's all set up. Guys, that's it. I'll throw the lid on it, and thank God I can get my little unit going again, back at the bench. Well, guys, that's it. She's ready to put back on the bench. Now, I hope you've enjoyed, enjoyed me fixing some of my own gear, something that I built when I was very young, and not many ICs or anything like that. 2 comparators in there, and a bunch of transistors. So it's pretty straightforward, this one. So ETI-131 out of Electronics Today International, April 1976. That's when I built him up. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed it. If the next video will be up shortly anyway, and it's relating to radios, not power supplies. And please subscribe if you like this. If you want to see more of this, radios, stereos, TVs, there's reel-to-reels to go yet. There's turntables. There's a lot of stuff here. So we're just going to keep them coming. Okay, give us a like if you like it, and I'll see you on the next one. Won't be too far away. Bye for now.